everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Joanna Bojarska and as you can see I'm not on my own. As for today's episode I have invited a very special guest, the founder of Mumee Matters, Tess Moore. And in today's video we will talk all about the motherhood, the joys, the struggles, why mother's health is so important and how by making even the tiniest and simplest changes and not feeling embarrassed when you're asking for help can make our life much easier and simply happier. So Tess, can you please tell us a few words about yourself and how did you come up with the idea of Mumee Matters?
Yeah, so my name is Tess. I have two small children, ages 5 and 2, and I live in Newbury. I am the eldest of 8 children, so I come from a big family where there was always something that needed doing, babies needed attention, nappy changes, housework. There was a lot of things going on and it's always been a really big part of my life. My husband jokes that when we get our kids looked after and we go to a wedding or we go away for the weekend, that I always end up finding another baby to hold, because I just seem to gravitate towards
it's in
children.
You, that's it, naturally.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. I do really love the children. I think it's quite a big part of my life and it's quite a big part of what helped me come up with the idea for creating Mumee Matters. Initially I started out by helping friends and family, and I was saying to my mum, I really wish that there was a role where I could do this professionally and sort of like a doula, but just not a birth doula, maybe just a postnatal doula. And she said to me, well, why don't you look into it, see, give it a go. So I had a look around and I literally couldn't find anybody who did anything similar. I mean, obviously you get doulas and they do offer birth doulas and postnatal services, but most people who employ doula only employ it for the birth side. I think that's just much more common because I think we don't tend to realise what we need after birth. So when I was having a look around and I couldn't really find
anyone who would do the same
who did a similar thing. So much so that when I was looking for insurance, there was no category for my work. So I had because I wasn't quite a doula, I wasn't quite a cleaner, I wasn't quite a nanny or an au pair. So I ended up being put into about 3 different categories.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, so they could encompass everything that I was going to be doing. I think the essential part of my business is that it just comes down to that I'm just really passionate about postnatal care and helping mums through the sort of transition into motherhood, which for me, when I had my first child, was such a big thing and I was quite
surprised. What comes after?
I think I went into it thinking, how difficult can it be? Everybody does it. I don't need to educate myself. I think it's just natural. We'll just go with it. And I had my first child, and it was such a surprise and a shock to the system. And no one tells you any of this. And the sort of change in lifestyle, change of sort of your work-life balance, obviously because you on maternity leave, the change in friendships, nothing is really the same once you've had a baby. And I was definitely underprepared, and I just really feel like we need to know, or we need to tell the mothers out there. I mean, you can be prepared for the actual birth side of things, but it's quite hard to prepare yourself for the mental side of things and how physically, when you've had a baby, you come home from hospital and you've got the baby and you're taking care of the baby, and that's fine, and you spend 2 weeks doing that, when your partner's at home, and then all of a sudden they go back to work and you're left with a tiny baby and everything else, and no one tells you about this, and we have so much to juggle, and I think we really struggle. I mean, I definitely struggled, and I'm quite lucky I had family around me, but in so many other countries there's a really big sort of movement of postnatal care, and here there just isn't much. Like you get the health visitors who come by after you give birth, and they are wonderful, but they don't stay for long because they're so busy.
I think what's great what you said, like people talking a lot about how to prepare for birth, but then for the birth itself, but then there is not so much sort of blogs or like people who you can go for an advice or guidance when it comes to, okay, so I give birth, I'm coming home, and then what? Yeah, the reality hits. And as we were talking a bit earlier, that it takes about 8 weeks, you said, based on on some kind of.
So our NCT teacher told us that after 8 weeks you come out of the fog, and during the first 8 weeks I was like, I don't know what she means, like we're kind of coping, it's fine. And then all of a sudden after 8 weeks, when obviously you've been doing it for 8 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is what she meant, like, and you feel like, oh, now I can cope, I can sort of go out, and it doesn't take, sort of 3 to 5 working days to get out the house with my baby, because it's just such a big like life transition, and I don't think anybody prepares you enough for it. And like they might talk about recovery after birth, but they might not, and they might talk about how to feed your baby, how to change them, how to bath them, but they don't talk about your own sort of journey and what you need to do as a mother. Like, one, to keep the baby sort of alive and fed and happy and safe and everything, but then also like, what about the rest? Like, who does the
dishes, cooking, cleaning, laundry,
and
exactly.
babies seem to go through so much laundry. Like it's just, there's a lot on and no one tells you. And I just feel that people need to know. And I was hoping that as I build this business, that I can just spread more awareness and just help mothers, and that they know that they don't have to be alone going through this sort of, transition, and that it can be easier with different resources and different help and just pointers and things like that. It's
definitely.
I feel really really passionate about helping everybody, and I really struggled, so I think everybody needs to know, and we just need to help each other.
Share that knowledge and guidance. Yes, definitely. So an amazing story, Tess. And to be honest, since you first time mentioned about this concept and the idea of creating Mumee Matters, straight away I thought, what an amazing project that can be, and that it is actually, and we have to let people know about this. That's why I have decided to invite you and to talk about this all today at my channel. And we forgot to mention that Tess is also my client here at Beauty by Joanna Studio, and if you watch my channel or you are my client just like Tess, you already know that I love welcoming moms here at my beauty studio. I even have 2, if not 3 separate videos here on my YouTube channel dedicated to the pregnancy treatments, and also very often you can see pregnant women or new moms here over my social media. And I'm fully aware that not every beauty salon offers pregnancy treatments or allows children at their premises, but for different reasons obviously. But I personally don't mind children at my beauty studio, as long as you know your child and you know your child's limits. When, for example, the child is little, let's say until their crawling stage, then it's easier, as it can stay in the pram or car seat, and we can perform a quick appointment like brows waxing, or maybe a tint, maybe a quick like body wax or an express pedicures. The treatments which I wouldn't recommend when planning to visit with a child will be definitely the treatments where you have to keep your eyes closed for an extensive period of time, like for example lash tint or LVL lash lift, or more relaxing treatments like massage or a facial treatment, because obviously in this case I would like you to be able to relax and just enjoy the treatment. And in this case I would ask for a cover, and here comes our Tess and Mumee Matters services. And is that something that you would cover, Tess, for example?
Yes, definitely. We cover all sorts of appointments. Ones where I have come with the mother and the baby, and like a couple of weeks ago I think I sat downstairs and held the 3-month-old baby whilst his mum had a patch test done. I've also had children at my own house, or I've been to other people's houses just to watch them for an hour whilst they've been here to come for some treatments here. Also, if you are not comfortable with that, I can take them for a walk. Basically, we're very flexible because we know that it's hard to kind of get somebody to watch your baby for a quick treatment, so we're happy to pop along or do
whatever suits the mom the best, basically, however she feels more like secure and making sure that her baby is in a safe hands. And Tess, please tell me, would you agree if I would say that every mom or mom-to-be, no matter how many and what age children she has, deserve this kind of moment, that treat for herself when she can simply treat herself, feel safe that her children are taken care of, and totally relax? What would you say to that?
Absolutely. I think, so there's a quote I came across the other day where it said, "You cannot pour from an empty cup." And I think as mothers, we do everything for our children, and we just get completely immersed in all the jobs that are going on, and the housework and the shopping and the kids, and we forget ourselves. And then weeks or months or years later, we wonder why we're having nervous breakdowns, or why we can't cope with the noise or the stress of all the household tasks and ferrying kids here, there and everywhere, and it just gets like too much. And I think we really need to focus on taking care of ourselves so that we can actually take care of our families better.
Definitely.
You hear so much from mothers on how they take care of themselves by taking a shower, and they describe the shower as, I did some self-care, took a shower, and it's like, it's not a treat, it's not self-care, it's just basics to have a shower. And like they sort of say, it's time out for myself, but real time out for yourself is scheduling something in just for you that makes you feel better mentally and physically, and that's like an extra. Having a shower is obviously good,
but still it's an essential.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, going and getting a treatment done, for example, or taking a walk, or even, I mentioned a while back on my social media that even just taking 5 minutes in the garden with a hot cup of tea, just to sort of reset, is really important. And I think because we do so much, we need to schedule time in for ourselves to relax, because otherwise we forget and we just go unnoticed, and then we struggle for it later.
Yes, because those things will pile up. And obviously we mentioned today mainly beauty treatments, because obviously I have invited Tess to my beauty studio here today. But as she said, even 5 minutes with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea can really make a huge difference. And I totally agree with you, Tess. And here I don't think we should ever feel guilty for either asking for help, a family member, or someone like Tess and Mumee Matters. And we mothers shouldn't feel guilty either that we are doing something for ourselves, that we want to feel and look good, and that should never be questioned. But on the other hand, I also think that we should never compare ourselves to other moms or any of these social media influencers or gurus who literally on their social media, from the moment they give birth, they look perfect. There is that first thing in the morning and they already show themselves up with like a full face of makeup and their hair beautifully curled. we all know that this is simply mission impossible, and that's not how what the life looks like on the daily basis. And we should be aware that this is the part of their influencer image and that they are creating for their social media, for their content, and it's like their stage persona. And if you are a mom or you are watching this video right now, you know that every day we have to simply pick our battles. Sometimes there is no time for a shower, let alone makeup or a fancy outfit, and that's absolutely fine as well. However, it's days like this, as we already said, like when you don't even have 10 minutes for yourself, starting to pile up, and you feel like you could do with some help, then Tess and her Mumee Matters come to the rescue. And here, Tess, I would like to ask you for a few little tips on how you can how we as moms can make our lives easier, and when it comes to, for example, combining the motherhood and taking care of ourselves, and why is it so important to maintain this balance?
Well, I think my first tip for making your life easier as a mum is not to judge yourself or to think about or worry about what other people think about your parenting. You know, you are the parent of your child. You know what matters, you know
what's important.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Everybody's relationship with their children is different, and it doesn't really matter what anybody else's opinion is. As long as you are confident in what you're doing is right, then
nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters. And I think once you let go of what you think you should be doing based on other people's opinions, life just becomes 10 times easier. You feel more confident as yourself and a mother, and you know your child, and it's just
comparison is never a good thing. I know it's hard because we do it subconsciously when we see each other with other moms, and like, oh, she looks so amazing, how is she doing that, but we don't know what's behind that curtain there, and it's like, it's never good to compare, as long as you feel good with yourself, that's what matters.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I speak from experience because I spent maybe the first couple of years worrying about what people were thinking about how I was bringing up my son, and
if you are good enough.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's just, and now I just don't care anymore, and I feel so much better as a person, and I think my relationship with my son is better because I'm not actually worrying about what other people are thinking. Because sometimes you think, you sit there and you worry what people are thinking, so you do something out of the ordinary that you don't normally do, and then it all just backfires.
Yeah,
and you end up in a worse situation, and you just think, I should have just gone with my gut feeling and done what I thought was right at the beginning. And just, doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. My second tip would be finding a way to keep on top of the household tasks.
That's a big one.
I mean, I think we're always all looking for the best solution, but I think people are so different, and there's a lot of resources out there. I followed for a while something where you did little tasks every day, and that really helped me. Whereas I have friends who they'll just have one big day where they just go and clean everything and get everything done. Finding out what works for you is more important. And for example, if you feel that you should be doing the washing up, but actually you don't mind that it gets left for a couple of days and you prefer to go for a day out with your kids, then do that, because years later you're not going to look back and think, oh, remember that Wednesday when I didn't do the washing up.
Exactly.
You're going to be like, oh, remember that Wednesday when we went down to the park or whatever.
Yes.
It's just things like that are just so much more important, and finding what's best for you. Personally, I find doing a little bits here, there, like a refresh.
Mm-hmm.
So I might deep clean my bathroom
one day,
one day, but then the rest of the week I'll just do little sort of freshen ups and things like that, so that I don't always I don't always feel like I'm always cleaning, because then I think it's just depressing. But two, so that everything is kind of kept on top of.
Yeah.
And you can sit in your house and relax and not have to think, oh, I really should be doing this, or I really should be doing that. And then I would say my third tip would be meal planning. So having a meal plan and then a shopping list with what you need for that meal plan is, for me, quite a game changer, because I hate sort of every day thinking, oh, you know, what do I need to cook today? Have we got what we need in the freezer? Are we missing bits? So this way, you do a quick meal plan, you have everything there, and then even if you don't stick to it day by day, you can swap the days because you've got the ingredients and it doesn't really matter. And I quite like having a couple of extra meals in the freezer, so either, you know, shop bought freezer meals or things I've prepared. And if I do prepare them, I tend to prepare them in those like tin foil dishes, so that when you do eat them, there's no washing up, which is great. And then they come with little lids where you can write the instructions, so if you don't want to do it and you ask your partner to do it, then it's really easy for them to just
follow.
To follow. You take it out the freezer, you know, the night before or the morning of, and then they can just pop it in the oven and it just, you know,
it's there. Yes.
And you don't have to worry about it. So to summarise, I think, so, you know, number one, just don't bother about other people's judgment. You know what your family needs. Number two, find your own way of cleaning and keeping on top of your household jobs, whether it's everything in one day or a couple of little things spread across the week. And number three, having a meal plan. And I often stick mine on the cupboard door, so we all know what we're eating, and then if anything changes, we swap it, and it's just so much easier. And also, if you have it up on the door, people don't ask, what are we having for tea? What are we having for tea?
They can check.
Go and check the menu.
Yes, definitely.
And then, so I also have a question for you, Joanna. Do you have any beauty tips for busy mums? Because I know personally that I find it very hard getting out of the house for work or the school run and looking, presentable, but also I find it very hard just in my day-to-day life finding time to fit skincare routines in and things like that, because often you see videos of people and it takes like half an hour, but I don't have time for that. I need a quick. So yeah, do you have any tips on like a quick fix?
Yes, sure. So first of all, amazing tips, Tess. Thank you so much. I will be definitely writing some of them down, especially that tin, disposable tin, and then instructions. Perfect. Perfect little tip. And when it comes to young, busy moms and their skincare and beauty treatments, I would definitely simplify them as much as I could. And in fact, very often with my new mom clients, we create a personalized yet very simple temporary skincare, which is very easy to follow, and it takes literally 1 minute in the morning and maybe tops 2 minutes in the evening. And literally, as we speak here today, I thought I will create a separate video here where I will show you a simple spa solution for busy moms, where in like 30 minutes you can rejuvenate your whole body and mind. So stay tuned for that, as I think it might be rather useful and helpful for some young moms. And one more thing when it comes to busy moms and their lifestyle is to schedule things in advance. Certainly, something can always change, as we all know. Life with children, it's very unpredictable. However, scheduling appointments in advance will give you that peace of mind, and you will never end up in the place where we haven't seen each other for like 6-7 months, where normally you are a very regular client, like we see each other every 4 or 5 weeks. So yes, I think scheduling things in advance and being on top of the game is the key here, especially when you have the little ones running around. So Tess, please tell me, for you, for example, as a mom of 2, working in 2 jobs and running the house, how important it is to you to visit my studio, and how does it make you feel coming here and having your treatments done?
I think in one word, I would say it's been a lifesaver.
Thank you.
I think when I first came, I was pregnant with my first child, and I was recommended by other mums because they were like, you're pregnant, you're vulnerable, Joanna is amazing, she's very relaxed, go see her, so I came along, and it was like going on a mini spa break, and like the smells, the atmosphere, just everything is so relaxing, and it's been so now I've got 2 children, and now I think I plan my appointments here sort of
in advance.
In advance, every couple of weeks, because it's just so important for me to be able to have the relaxing, nice time.
Even if it's only half an hour, it
even
makes
just
the whole
going
difference.
getting your eyebrows done or things like that. And I think so. After I had Esme, you helped me regrow my eyebrows, which was quite a big process for me. I was quite worried about it, but it was just so, you really put me at ease. It was just so, I didn't have to worry about anything.
Natural, yes.
It was so, a big game changer for me. And I think I also brought Esme along with me for a couple of the appointments when she was really small, which was really nice not to have to worry about, can I bring her, can I not, do I need to book a babysitter, is there anybody to babysit her?
But she was so easy, she was just so curious and observing us, what we doing.
I think she just sat in her car seat and watched what went on, and then I think maybe towards the end when we were booking in another appointment, you just picked her up and held her whilst I got my stuff ready.
I have to have cuddles. I have to steal a few cuddles always. Yes.
But it's so nice as a mother knowing that you can go somewhere and feel relaxed and not worry about what's going to happen or whether or not it's inconvenient. Like I really think you just set everybody at ease, and it's just such a relaxing place to be. And if I had my way, I'd be coming every week.
I think it's very important, especially for moms, because me being a mom, I know how stressful it can be. You go somewhere and, the child starts to be unsettling, like, crying, and you're already like sweating because, you have to keep still because I'm doing something on your face or on your body, and it can be so stressful. So for me, it was all about creating this very relaxing and secure and safe environment for you. And for example, even when I have ladies with like first few weeks after pregnancy, let's say the child is like 9 weeks old, let's say, I try to schedule in like 10 extra minutes with their appointment, because maybe they would like to change the nappy, or they would like to breastfeed the baby, to soothe the baby, for example. So those little things I think makes them, you are not feeling rushed. That's the last thing which I would like. You feeling rushed. Of course, there are some seasons like December before Christmas when I have one appointment after another. But for me, no matter if you're a mom or not, you do not feel rushed here. You come here, I'm for you. If you come with a little baby and you need to change the nappy, or you need to breastfeed them or bottle feed them, however you feed them, you have this peace of mind, like the time to do it. And I think that's very important, because I feel like that would be important. That would be a very important thing to me as well.
I think babies are so unpredictable. So being able to go somewhere where you know that actually it's fine, it's relaxed, you've got the extra 10 minutes to change their nappy or feed them. It's just such a nice feeling as a mum to be able to do that and go somewhere where you can do that and not feel like it's a big issue or anything like that. For me,
I think I think it's also an achievement for us. If we go to see someone and we manage to do it, let's say, I've done it. See, I can do it. I can go for my brow appointment and I can take my child with me and everything will be fine. And that gives us so much confidence. I can do it. It's actually worked really well. So I think that's a very good thing as well. Although when the child starts to be toddler, running around, touching things, that's obviously the time when it's not necessarily the best thing to bring them over here. So that's where you come handy, like we call test. Can you come for an hour to take care of my child? And but there is always a solution. Yes.
Yeah, no, I think definitely Esme is now 2.5 and she would be too interested in a lot of stuff that's here.
Yes, so as I said, knowing your child and their
Yeah.
limits, because we can't be upset with them that they want to touch something, because there is loads of different lights here, different equipment, and they're really curious, so
I think one of the other things as well is that being able to book in advance, but then know that you can change close to the time if there's issues with childcare, or if something's happened and things have changed, is also quite a big plus, because you're just so relaxed about everything and nothing unfazable, which is amazing, because often you, especially as a mum, you kind of worry about, if I don't have the childcare, then what am I going to do? Then I'll have to reschedule, and it all just gets a bit too much. Whereas if you know that the other person on the other end is kind of like, yeah, it's fine, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we
makes
will
such
work
a
it out.
difference.
Yes, thank you so much, amazing, Tess. And I must also say that I'm utterly upset that Mumee Matters haven't been invented earlier, because I would most definitely use your services for a few different occasions, because besides the fact that I was very lucky to have friends around who were really, really helpful. It's not always easy to ask a friend for certain things, and sometimes you think, this is not too much. That would be very helpful. And it's only myself and my husband here in UK. We don't have any family here. Yes, Amazon Meet, help like yours would be very welcomed on multiple occasions. And because together with Tess, we value our services very highly, we decided to come up with a little collaboration. So, if you heard about Mumee Matters on my social media, whenever you book your first hour or a bundle with Mumee Matters, and you will use the code MUMEeBeauty, you will receive 20% off your first hour or £10 off your first bundle with Mumee Matters.
And if you happen to hear about Beauty by Joanna on Mumee Matters social media, and you book your first appointment with Joanna, when you use the code MUMEECARE, you will receive a 20% discount on a single beauty service of your choice.
Yes, and this offer in both cases is dedicated to new clients only, customers, and it cannot be combined with any other offers, but we will put all the details in the description underneath this video. And I hope you will enjoy using the codes. I will also leave you the links to Mumee Matters website and her social media underneath in the description box below this video, so you can see more and check Tess's offer. From us, that will be all for today. I hope you found this video interesting and useful. As usual, please share all your thoughts with us in the comment section below this video. Thank you very much for joining us here today. We wish you all a beautiful day ahead, and we both are looking forward to meeting all of you new moms or moms to be very, very soon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.